शुक्लांबरधरं विष्णुं शशिवर्णं चतुर्भुजं प्रसन्नवदनं ध्यायेत् सर्वविघ्नोपशान्तये सरस्वती नमस्तुभ्यं वरदे कामरूपिणी विद्यारम्भं करिष्यामि सिद्धिर्भवतु मे सदा गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णु गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुः साक्षात् परब्रह्म तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः. So, we were looking at Brahmavaivarta Puranam. Brahmavaivarta Puranam, we are almost towards the end. A few things that were remaining. Let us have a close look at that. So, last time, if you remember, we had seen the story of Narada, how he got the darshana of Lord Vishnu, how he took a birth on Bhulokam due to a curse given by Brahma. But even during that curse, also, the only thing that he asked was, wherever I'm okay to take a birth on Bhulokam, that is on earth, that is fine, but wherever I am, in whichever birth I am, he requests the Lord that I should always be engrossed in your bhakti, your devotion. So, this was the condition which Narada had laid, and Brahma was also happy with that. So, that's the reason, whichever birth Narada took, his devotion to Lord Vishnu never reduced or so, but he never forgot the Lord. That was the story that we saw. Then we also saw about the story of Yagnavalkya. Yagnavalkya, the division of the Vedas, how Krishna Yajurvedam was there, how Shukla Yajurvedam emerged, how Yagnavalkya was told to, you can say, vomit out or to give away the memory of his Vedas, how the Titri birds come and consume the Vedas. Those who had missed the last session, you can refer to the audio later. So this was a story that we saw. And then Brahmavaivarta Puranam highlights a lot about the worship of goddess Saraswati. That's the reason why you also have the story of Yagnavalkya and his the restoration of the memory of the Vedas. So a lot of emphasis is given on Saraswati Puja, knowledge, study of the Vedas, and so on in the Brahmavaivarta Purana. Then we had seen earlier the story of goddess Lakshmi, Durga, and Lakshmi, Saraswati, and Ganga, how they ended up cursing each other. Just I'll tell you the story again. So, initially, that is during the beginning of the universe, as per the Brahmavaivarta Purana, goddesses Lakshmi, Saraswati, and Ganga, all three of them were the wives of Srihari in Vaikuntham. And Saraswati felt so somewhat. Now, if one person has got three wives, obviously little there might be jealousy, this and that. So Saraswati used to always feel that Lord Hari was getting close to Ganga more, and she went and she complained to goddess Mahalakshmi, saying that Lord Hari is getting closer only to, he has got three wives, but he is getting close to only Ganga. But Lakshmi Devi was neutral. She said it's okay. Anyways, if we are three of them, obviously such things are going to happen. We have to only adjust ourselves. But Ganga, she felt bad that Saraswati was unnecessarily, she was trying to interfere in everything. She was trying to gain attention of the Lord and so on. So on purpose, she was doing. And in this, what happened is Saraswati got very angry. She went to Lord Goddess Lakshmi and told her that this is what happened, but Lakshmi did not show any response. So Saraswati got very angry. She directly went and she cursed Ganga. And reacting to this, what happened is Srihari was listening to all this. Vishnu was listening to all this, and finally he said that Lakshmi, Goddess Lakshmi, will be born on Bhulokam in the form of a tree, TRE, tree. And where she will be born is a tree in the house of a king called Dharmadhwaja. And it seems that she was born as the king's wife. Sorry, she was born as a tree in the king's courtyard or so. And later she became the wife of an asura called Shankachuda. Shankachuda actually was an asura but a great devotee of Lord Vishnu. And later on, the same Shankachuda, that is goddess Mahalakshmi herself in the form of a tree, she later became very fond of Srihari and lived ever as Tulsi. So Tulsi Patram that we celebrate today, or Tulsi Patram that we offer to the Lord today, is none other but a form of goddess Mahalakshmi herself. So that is the story how goddess Mahalakshmi was born on Bhulokam as a tree, and later she turned out to be Tulsi Patram. And also she was reborn as a river Padmavati that flows in Bharatavarsha. The Queen Padmavati of Srinivasa is different, and the river Padmavati that flows through Bharatavarsha, that is none but Ganga herself. Now again, so this is how we have how the birth of Tulsi Patram took place, that is given in the Brahmavaivarta Puranam. Ganga was cursed, so that's the reason she kept on flowing. That's the reason we have Ganga river flowing through Bharatavarsha today. And that's how she became known as Bhagirathi. She is also the wife of Samudra, that is ocean god. And that's why you have different names for Ganga, Bhagirathi, Janu, Shivasthanam, and so on. Like this, different names are given. And now, if Saraswati had cursed Ganga, Ganga also she got angry. She cursed Saraswati back, and that's how Saraswati left Vishnu and she became the wife of Brahma. That's how the story goes about. And finally, Lakshmi. Lakshmi did not have any jealousy, or so she did not curse anyone. She did not get angry. That's why through her, she was born as Tulsi Batram. She blessed earth, and finally she only remained with Lord Sri Hari till date also. So that's the reason the wife of Lord Hari in Vaikuntham is today, as we consider, is Mahalakshmi herself. So thus finally what happened is, all three goddesses who were there, Durga, sorry, not Durga, Lakshmi, Saraswati and Ganga, they repented. That mainly Ganga and Saraswati, they felt bad that they ended up cursing each other, and again they came close. At that time the Lord said that somehow you can still be on Bhulokam only. Towards the end of the Kali Yuga, Ganga can come back to Swargaloka. And Saraswati, what Saraswati will do is, Saraswati will keep her half amsham or so in Bharatavarsha, and half amsham still lives in Brahmalokam. That's the reason Saraswati river has vanished today. So both of them, Ganga and Saraswati, are flowing in Bharatavarsha. Ganga has lived till date. Saraswati river is no more seen because only an amsha, a part of Saraswati, was there in Bharatavarsha. Remaining still is there in Brahmalokam only. So that's the reason today Saraswati river we cannot see the river flowing physically. So all this is due to the curse that has taken place and the mutual talks which Lord Sri Hari Vishnu has told all three of them. Next, so this is a story that is there, and it seems that one goddess Mahal, all this when Ganga river, Tulsi Patram and so on, it seems that in Kali Yuga also for about 5000 years or so, all this would very much be present, used for worship also. That's the reason why we are seeing now, right? And so this is the story of Ganga, Saraswati and Lakshmi. And further, it is also said that even Nastikas is people who don't have any belief in the Lord or so, or keep on cursing the Lord and so on. Even those people also unknowingly, if they offer a Tulsi Patram, or even if they take a birth in these holy rivers, Ganga, Saraswati also, they attain Vaikuntham. So this was a blessing which Sri Hari Vishnu gave all the three goddesses. So this is a story of Ganga that is highlighted here. Finally, next we see the story of Draupadi, Sita, Vedavati. Vedavati is said to be at the previous birth of Sita. So Vedavati had initially met Ravana, and Ravana had tried to molest her, as is his nature, which she does with every woman. So at that time, Vedavati had cursed, saying that in my next birth I will be born as Rama's wife Sita, and at that time my next birth would be the cause of your destruction. So Sita's previous verse was Vedavati. Sita in the sense Maya Sita, not original goddess Mahalakshmi. We know the concept of Maya Sita who's there. So Vedavati, Maya Sita, Draupadi. So that's how the lineage goes. So what's the story? Let's have a look. Now in the line of Manu, you have a different gods were born, and you had Savarani. Savarani is the name of a Manvantara. There you have different lords who are born, like Savarani Rudra, Savarani Dharma, Savarani Deva, Savarani Agni, and so on. So why Savarani is basically the name of that Manvantara was associated with that lord. So now all these people, all these lords who were there, they were all great devotees of Lord Vishnu. So once it so happened that there was the son of Savarani Indra who was there. His name was Vrishabhadwaja. He was a king Vrishabhadwaja, and he was a great devotee of Lord Shiva. Now it seems that Shiva who was there, Shiva considered Vrishabhadwaja, this king, more than his own sons Ganesha and Kartikeya. So that is the amount of affection which even Shiva had for this devotee Vrishabhadwaja. But somehow what happened is, this king who was there, his father Savarani Indra was a great devotee of Lord Vishnu, but Vrishabhadwaja being a great devotee of Lord Shiva, he never followed the path path of Vaishnavism. That is, he never uh, did any puja to Lord Vishnu. In fact, he even discouraged people from doing Vishnu puja, Lakshmi puja, and so on. Now, looking at this, so Vaishnava Dharma, basically this king Vrishabhadwaja did not follow at all. Now, this was not liked by Surya Bhagavan. He said, no, such things cannot be done. If you are worshipping one Lord, doesn't mean that you insult or stop the worship of other gods also. So, what he did was, Shiva, he cursed the king that Rajya Lakshmi is prosperity, because you have discouraged Vishnu Puja, Lakshmi Puja, Raja Lakshmi, that is Dhanam, Dhanyam, prosperity which is there, that will leave you. So this is a curse which Surya Bhagavan gave to the king. Now, if such a curse is given to a king, if a king loses all his prosperity, there is no use of him being a king. Right? But this was a curse which he got from Surya Bhagavan. When Surya cursed his king, at that time Shiva got very angry because his dearest devotee was being cursed. So Surya, he lifted his Trishula, and it seems that he ran behind Surya Bhagavan. And later, of course, Surya Bhagavan, he took the help of his father Kashyapa and so on. And now finally what happened is, this three of them, Surya, Kashyapa and Brahma. Surya, Kashyapa Muni and Brahma, all three. Sorry, someone was saying something? No? Okay. So now, but still, Shiva was running behind with a Trishula in his hand. So Surya, he sought the help of Surya, Kashyapa, and Brahma. All three of them, they went to Brahma. They all went to Vishnu. Shiva too reached Vaikuntham and told Vishnu that, see, I don't have any problem, but then Vrishabhadwaja is my personal devotee, in the sense he has got a lot of worship towards me, and therefore it is my duty to protect him. So Vishnu replied that. Said, and this Surya, Shiva tells the entire story that this Surya has ended up cursing him and so on. That's the reason I'm running behind him with a Trishula in this hand. At that time, Vishnu replied that it's okay, but then what has happened is, by the time all of this incident has happened, that you are following Shiva and finally now you have come to Vaikuntham and so on, this king Vrishabhadwaja has lost all his prosperity because the curse has worked, and he has also died. And not only he has died, his son Rathadwaja, Vrishabhadwaja, his son Rathadwaja, he has also died. So much time has passed about. And now what has happened is, the grandsons of Vrishabhadwaja, they are born. Now, why this difference is, there is a time difference in Prithvi and time difference in Vishnu Lokam, Brahma Lokam, and so on. So by the time Shiva and Surya, they were running about here and there in Swarga Loka, time has elapsed on Prithvi, and Vrishabhadwaja's next two generations are already born. So Vrishabhadwaja's grandsons, their name is Dharmadwaja and Kushadwaja. They, now what happened is, instead of being Shiva Bhaktas, they became great Bhaktas of Lord Vishnu. They perform Lakshmi Puja, Vishnu Puja, and so on. And Vishnu further said that an Amsha, a part of goddess Mahalakshmi, will be born, and she will be the wife of Kushadwaja, who is the grandson of Vrishabhadwaja. And it seems that as soon as the baby was born, it was a female, and who was the wife of Kushadwaja, and she was none other than Vedavati. That's how the name itself is Vedavati. She did a lot of tapasya, she used to chant the Vedas and so on. And there was, at that time when Vedavati was born, it was told that Vedavati in her next birth would be Vishnu's wife. That is none but Sita herself. And on hearing this, what happened is, Vedavati became very happy and she left for the Gandhamadana Parvata. Gandhamadana mountain is in today's Kailasam. And she intensified her tapasya, saying that if in my next birth I have to get Vishnu as my husband, I have to do a lot of tapasya then. And at that time, what happened is, Ravana comes there, and while she was doing tapasya in the Gandhamadana mountain, what happens is, Ravanasura, he sees Vedavati, and obviously he approaches her and so on. At that time, she curses Ravana for her misbehavior and declared that, I will sacrifice my life by jumping into Agni, and in a next birth, I will be the person who will be responsible for your death. That is nothing but Devi Sita. I will be the wife of a Naravatara of Lord Vishnu, Sri Rama. So this is how it was declared then. In the next birth, obviously, we know Sita was married to Rama, and as usual, the Ravana story takes place. And mm, one second, hold on. Yeah. So all of you can hear me, right? Is my voice clear? Okay. Sanjeev, do you want to say tell something?
Madam, Kushathwaj, you said it the same, the person who was Janaka's brother?
Janakas? No, no, no.
Brother?
That is different. Here, Kushadwaja's brother is Dharmadwaja. Names are similar. That's it. Yeah.
Okay, okay, thank you.
Yeah. So here, obviously, what happened is we know the story that is there. That further the entire Ramayana story, Sita is abducted and so on. And at that time, what happened is while Rama, before the abduction of Sita, Rama, Sita, and Lakshmana were there. And when Rama and Sita were alone, at that time, Agni Bhagavan approaches Rama as a Brahmana and tells that the time for Sita's abduction has come. Goddess Mahalakshmi cannot be abducted at all because Sita is a Sati. Sita is a Sati Shri, therefore Sati Stri, and therefore Ravana cannot touch her. And then the entire story of Ravana's abduction, Ravana's killing, and so on cannot take place. Therefore, I will take Sita with me, I'll replace Sita with Maya Sita or Agni Sita. And so, this story of Maya Sita actually comes in the Brahma Vaivarta Puranam, not as such in the Valmiki Ramayana. Okay. So, therefore, and after the killing of Ravana, also you can get back your Sita. So, this is how it happens, and real Sita is returned back to Rama after the Agni Pariksha episode. So, this is the story. And now, what happens is further, this same Vedavati, who is this Chaya Sita in the Ramayana, after the Ramayana is over and after Agni Pariksha, her scene is over, her duty was done, right? She had to live. Chaya Sita was there only during the abduction by Ravana, and after the Agni Pariksha episode, her work is done. So now Chaya Sita, the same Vedavati who is in this birth, Chaya Sita, she goes to the Pushkara Kshetram, which is in Rajasthan today. And in Dwapara Yuga, now in the Treta Yuga, she is born as Chaya Sita. In the next Yuga, Dwapara Yuga, she became Draupadi. Draupadi, the wife of the Pancha Pandavas. And thus, this Vedavati, what happened is she was born 2 3 times as Chaya Sita, and next she becomes Draupadi. So, this is the story how the same Vedavati becomes Chaya Sita and finally Draupadi. Now, it so happened that now, this was about the lineage of Kushadwaja, Kushadwaja's lineage. The other lineage, the other person, Kushadwaja's brother Dharmadwaja, what happened to him was he was also born, he was also married to a woman called Malati. So, Dharmadwaja and Malati. And they had a daughter called Tulasi. Now, this Tulasi, it seems that she was so powerful that she could not be lifted. A small girl child, but she could not be lifted at all. That was the charm of the child. And it seems that she had a memory, jati smaranam. That means she had the memory of all her previous births. And Tulasi, it seems that she performed very strict tapasya to Lord Brahma, it seems, and she got a boon from him. And she recalled that in her previous birth she was a gopi called Tulasi, Gopi, during the Krishna Avatara times, during the Dwapara Yuga. And it seems that she was in Goloka, she was a very close friend of Radharani, and she was also fond of a boy called Govinda, who was also called as Gopa, and so on. And it seems that what happened is this Tulasi, she developed lust also towards Krishna, and Radharani did not like this. That's the reason why Radharani curses her to be born on Bhuloka, and blesses her that you do tapasya to Lord Brahma, you will again get the boon of marrying Sri Krishna again. So that's the reason how Tulsi is born to Dharmadwaja and Malati on Bhuloka. Further, this Brahma, what he said. So Brahma was happy with the tapasya of Tulsi, and what he said that Lord Krishna is already born. That is an Amsha of Lord Krishna is already born on earth, who's none but Shankachuda, who's residing in Samudra. And this Shankachuda who is there, he is an Amsha of Lord Krishna, and he is so strong that he cannot be defeated even by Lord Shiva himself. So therefore, you please go and you go and live there and so on. And this is when Tulsi became very happy, and but now little bit fear was there inside, because last time when she had approached Krishna also, Radharani had cursed her. So this time again an Amsha of Krishna is there, so she felt a bit afraid. If Radharani comes in my way, what will I do again? How many times I'll get cursed, how many times I'll do tapasya, and so on. So she was a bit you can say a bit scared also. Brahma understands this and Brahma tells that you compose a stotram called the Radha Stotram. Radha Stotram is a part of Brahma Vaivarta Puranam. You compose this, you chant, you please Devi Radha via Shodashopachara Samskaram. Shodashopachara Puja is the different pujas that we do. First is cleaning the place also, then keeping the idol of the Lord, offering flowers, dhupa, deepa, and so on. So this is all the Shodashopachara. That is the different ways of worship, offering Nevidyam. So like this, Radha Stotram, Radha Kavacham, and so on. Or Radha Upasanam. Radha Upasanam. This Tulsi does. She invokes Radha Rani. Radha Rani is pleased with her. And in course of time, what happens is Shankachuda and Tulasi meet each other. Now, Shankachuda also used to always chant Krishna Kavacham, which we are learning now, Krishna Mantram, and so on. And thus, finally, what happens is Radha, Tulsi, and this Shankachuda, both of them, they meet each other. And both of them did a Gandharva Vivaham. Gandharva Vivaham happens when there are no relations or so of them, that is, no parents, nothing. Gandharva Vivaham, directly you meet, both of them fall, like directly face on face they meet, and then that's how they get married. So the Gandharva Vivaham comes here. And it seems that now both of them had this boon of Jati Smaranam. Both Shankachuda and Tulasi, both of them had the boon of Jati Smaranam. They could remember whatever had happened in their previous births, and it seems that they were great scholars. So now, if a man or woman they meet, we will, if a that is, if a to be husband and wife are about to meet, we will discuss on general topics, right? What is your background? Where do you live? What have you studied? What have you worked? And so on. On general topics we talk. But here it seems that both this Tulsi and Shankachuda they discuss topics on Vedanta. It seems so that was their normal conversation which took place. And finally, now both Shankachuda and Tulsi were married to each other, and that's how their story goes about. Further, of course, you have the further story of Shankachuda, how he was a great devotee of Lord Vishnu, an Amsha of Krishna himself, but born in the lineage of Asuras. The further what happens, that is also given in detail, but this is the story of Shankachuda and Tulsi. Tulsi is nothing but the same Tulsi Patram that we use for worship today. Okay, till here could everyone follow? Yes.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, one doubt also, madam.
Yes.
Yes. In our place, when a widow is remarried, that is also called as Gandharva Vivaha.
Yeah. So basically, why that is said is basically the concept of Gandharva Vivaham is you don't need the consent or so of others. Now, usually, if you see, you have your parents, other relations, you have the law, you have to go to the court and so on. So, somewhere, even if you do a court marriage, also you need some witness, you need the consent, right? Whereas in a Gandharva Vivaham, also, as such, you don't need a consent or a permission from anyone. Just mutually, both the man and the woman, they will talk to each other, mutually decide we are about to get married. That's it. So, that is Gandharva Vivaham. It's usually not in practice much to do. But in this context that is there, Tulsi and Shankachuda, both of them, they were to marry with each other. That's when Brahma was present there. And when you talk about a widow also, in the case of a widow remarriage, it is like anyway, we think that the widow has to get married again. Right? So you don't need the consent of five, six people or so asking them this and that. And we don't do like a normal marriage as such. It's just that the widow has to live alone for the rest of her life. Instead of that, let's get her married off. So that is just we don't keep on asking people all around. It's just a general marriage that is done. Okay. Now towards the end of the Brahma Vaivarta Puranam, we see the Shodashopa Upachara Vyakhya Stotram, Durga Kavacham, and so on of Durga, Lakshmi, and Saraswati. Brahma Vaivarta Puranam has different, you can say, in detailed methods of how puja should be offered to these goddesses, and the different stotras, Durga Kavacham, Lakshmi Kavacham, and so on. I'm not getting too much deep into it. And further, you have the Ganesha Khyana. Ganesha Khyana Utpatti, that is the story of Ganesha, how he became Ekadanta. So now, this story you can consider that Ganesha story, how he got the elephant face that is there, how he became Ekadanta, and how he got Lord Vishnu, how he gave a blessing to Lord Ganesha that no puja will be started without invoking you. And here, as per the Brahma Vaivarta Puranam, it is said that Ekadanta he lost one of his tusks. Ganesha lost one of his half tusk, if you see, it is chipped off due to an encounter with Lord Parshurama. And then the same teeth he uses for writing the Mahabharatam later. And that's how you have the story of Ganesha Khyana. In detail, you have different stories related to Lord Ganesha. Little it might differ from the common stories that we know in praise of Lord Ganesha, but in general the topic remains the same. Now why like this there are differences is on the time period. Okay, so it depends on the time period, different versions to develop in the course of time. That's it. So this is how you have one entire chapter dedicated to Lord Ganesha, Ganesha Janma Vrittantam. That is a story, or you can say that's a stotram in itself, wherein Vinayaka, Ganesha, Ekadanta, different names of Lord Ganesha are highlighted. You also have the Phalashruti. Now here you also have something called the story of Shaneshchara. Shaneshchara, or it is called the Shani Upakhyanam. One minute. Mm, one second. Shani Vikshanam. Shani Vikshanam, to be, you can say, rid of the powers of Shani as such. So Goddess Parvati has done a puja also by invoking Lord Ganesha, by worshipping along with Ganesha, in order to get rid of the power of Shani. So Shani Bhagavan usually Shani Dosham that we say. So that is also done. So Ganesha is the Lord of all prosperity. He removes all vignas and so on. Vignaharta. So that's the reason this is this stotra is chanted. Shani Vikshanam is also done by Goddess Parvati. Towards the end of Brahma Vaivarta Puranam, you have the Phalashruti. You have some Krishna Leela stories that are mentioned. You have the Phalashruti of the Brahma Vaivarta Puranam that is told. And finally, Ganesha Kavacham, Ganesha Mahatmyam is there, again stotras in praise of Ganesha. And lastly, Narayana Maharshi. Narayana is the name of the Rishi. He talks about Lord Krishna as a Tattvam, that is as a supreme. Now, as we had discussed initially, also Brahma Vaivarta Puranam glorifies Lord Krishna to the topmost level. So, highest status is given to Lord Krishna. There is nothing beyond Krishna, they say. So, like a Tattva, the supreme Brahman, reality, whatever you call, is Lord Krishna, and Prakriti, or the supreme energy, the goddess is Radharani. So that in a philosophical manner, the last part of Brahma Vaivarta Puranam is explained that Krishna and Radharani should not be merely looked upon two figures or two gods as such. They are only the Tattvam, ultimate reality. So that is explained towards the end of the Brahma Vaivarta Puranam. With this, Brahma Vaivarta Puranam concludes. It is a big Puranam in itself. I just highlighted upon few points. Okay, so now the last among the Puranas remains, that is the Srimad Bhagavata Purana. Apart from that, are all Puranas done? Is there any? From my side, it is done. Is there anything left? Have we missed out? Has anyone made a note of it? Awesome.
No, only Bhagavatam is left.
Only Bhagavatam, right? Okay. Yeah. So next we now whenever we start, that is next Saturday, right? No, tomorrow. Tomorrow also I told you that we will do it. Yeah. Okay. So tomorrow itself we will start then. Tomorrow we can start with Bhagavata Mahatmyam tomorrow. So with that we will start. Of course, the story of Bhagavata Mahatmyam. So and Krishna Kavacham anyways it remains. So tomorrow onwards we will start. Tomorrow only once we will have 7:30 to 8:15 or so. Then as usual every Saturday we meet 9 to 10. That we will continue. So this Srimad Bhagavata Mahatmyam tomorrow we will start. We will look at that. And of course, as little time remains in every class, we will continue learning Krishna Kavach. Okay. So for today, we will stop here. I told you 8:15, but we have completed Brahma Vaivarta Puranam. We stop here. Srimad Bhagavata Mahatmyam onwards, we will start.